Hey, it's Jim from BamBiz. I've got Joel Okindo on here right now, and he is the expert that we have for our new local authority marketing service, which is really going to help a lot of estate planning and elder law firms grow the traffic on their website. Now, I'm just going to address the monkey in the room here. I've got lots of baskets behind me, and that's because we needed somewhere to store all these baskets. We're donating these to some local families in the area for Thanksgiving. So it's a bunch of Thanksgiving baskets. So ignore those and enjoy this. We're going to talk about the new authority marketing service that we are offering. There's 6 steps in that process. And today we're going to discuss the website audit and why that's important. So Joel, tell us about a little bit about the authority marketing and then the audit, and we'll kind of go from there.
Sure, no problem, Jim. Thanks for bringing me on, by the way. And so the first step in local authority marketing is the website audit. All right. And the website audit actually is the biggest step of the whole process because it lays a foundation for your entire website. And the biggest problem attorneys or really anybody with a website has is traffic. How to get more traffic to your website. So for the website audit, I decided to go over well, it's actually 5 now. It's 5 steps that every website should go through to have the best foundation to start to show up in search rankings. And the first one is content. So the goal of your content is to help your user, all right? With the new Google update, it's never been easier to rank on Google, but it's also never been harder. And the reason why is because if you don't feed Google or Bing or Yahoo, if you don't feed them the right information, they're obviously not going to know what your website's about. And it used to be, if you talk about back in 05, 06, you can put up a website, and if you just mention the word lawyer, if you just mention the word attorney and elder law, Google will just say, "Well, that website is about elder law," and they'll rank it. Unfortunately, there's a lot of competition now. Google has become smarter, but website owners need to be a little more direct with Google and all the other search engines. So the first step, right, is to review your content. What makes good content now? So at a minimum, you got to have 800 words per page. And it sounds crazy, but the reason why is because anything less than 800 words typically doesn't give you a lot of information. What's the page about? Who's it help? What's it for? Is it just a page that sits there, or is it a page that, will get you the information that you need? So we'll look at your website and look at 4 things, right? Is it relevant to your user? Does the content need to be on its own page? Can it be combined with another page? And like I said, each page should have 800 words. So that's the first step. Next, we'll look at your photos, all right? And it sounds silly to think about the photos on your website, but a lot of times the biggest reason your website is slow, the biggest reason your website might have issues is because of your photos. They might be too big to load properly. And so when someone gets on your page, it takes too long to load, and they're like, this is obviously a fake page or some weird page, and they'll leave. The other thing too is Google now has made it easier for websites to be found with images. So let's say you were meeting with a room full of people at a workshop, and one of your assistants took a photo. All right. You could tag that photo, Jim Blake talking to a room full of people for the Florida Bar Association meeting. Okay, so now let's say someone's looking for an elder law attorney in Florida. Jim's picture comes up on Google Images. They can click through that photo, and if that photo is on your website, they'll get to your website. But if you never tag that photo properly, why would Google know that it was an elder law attorney speaking to a room full of people located in Florida, unless you told it that? So we'll look at your photos. So now the next step, right? So what else helps your rankings? It's a lot of, so most people, most websites are missing this information. And the people that rank at 1, 2, or 3 never miss a single piece of information. And the 3 is the title of your page and the title of your article, the meta description, and the URL. All right. So I'll go through these 3 real quick. Right. So your title, what's your page called? Your page can't just be called, page 1, page 2, right? What is the page about? So it needs a headline. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you have an entire page dedicated to, and this happens all the time. I'll use our website as an example, bambiz.net, right? And let's say we have a category page that says marketing your workshops. Okay, so I click on that page. It can just be called bambiz.net, but the page that I'm on is called marketing your workshops. Why would I not call that page bambiz.net dash marketing your workshops? That's the first thing. It's the page title. Next is the meta description. What are you describing your page's purpose? All right. Is the purpose of your page to teach people about marketing your workshop? Then say that. There's a section on your webpage where you can identify information for search engines to use to tell people what your page is about. You need to fill that out. And the last part is your URL. The URL should be something like bambiz.net/marketing elder law workshops. Most people, I've committed this mistake. It's super common where we'd have a website.com/page 3, and it's some irrelevant URL. Your URL needs to be relevant to the page, and it needs to help the user identify what your page is about just by looking at it. It needs to be made super simple. And so we'll look at that. And not done the studies, but studies have been published that says the shorter your URL, the higher you rank on Google. And the reason for that is because a shorter URL quickly lets someone know what your page is about, and they're more likely to click on it. Now, so once you look at your content, once you look at your titles, and once you look at your descriptions, all right, what's next? Google needs to know how relevant your site is to other websites. That's how it knows whether they should rank you alongside similar websites. And that's called relevancy. How does it do that? In 2 ways. It looks at all your links inside your website. So for example, if you're an elder law attorney and on your website, you link to nursing homes, you link to estate planners, you link to financial planners, CPAs, and you link to a lot of the events that you go to. Google is smart enough to look at all those other pages, and then they're like, this guy must be an elder law attorney, so let's make him pop up in elder law searches, because he obviously is an authority because he's linking out to all these other people who also have authority. And he wouldn't be doing that, one, if he wasn't legitimate or if they weren't legitimate. So that's important. And the other thing is they look at the links you make internally to yourself. So the way Google knows that a page is important is by how many other pages on your website you link to that page. So if I have a page about marketing workshops and I have 3 articles about closing sales, about speaking to customers, and about setting up for those workshops, and I link to that page about marketing elder law workshops, Google will see, oh, this page has 3 links that are relevant to this larger page. It must be important. And so if someone looks up, Bam Biz marketing, I guarantee you'll see a link there that says marketing your elder law workshop, because Google will know that it's an important page on your site since a lot of pages are linking to it. So I hope I'm making sense so far. Next, now we're in the 4th step. You got to analyze your site structure. Your site structure is what your users use to navigate your site and what Google uses to navigate your site. If an important page that you have is buried deep in your website, so for example, it's not on your homepage, it's mentioned in an article that was published 4 months ago, how is Google going to know, or any search engine going to know, that that page was important? It wouldn't. It wouldn't. But you know it's important, and you want more people to see it. All right, so you got to move it to the front. You got to bring it. You got to link to it in the front, in the home page. You got to link to it in a menu. You got to link to it somewhere. So the 4th step is to analyze your site structure. And so we'll look at your site structure. We'll ask, what pages are important, what pages make money, what pages are going to quickly help the customer, the viewer, and we're going to move those around to make sure your site is structured, your home page, right? Your category pages, in your most important articles, and then, booking a call in that order, because, no one's going to land on your website and book a call. Someone's going to land on your website, read what you're about with your title and your headlines. Then they're going to look at what categories of services you offer, and then they're going to want to contact you. In the same way that's important to your customer, that's important to search engines. So if your website isn't laid out properly, and your customer is confused, then search engines were confused way before your customer ever got there, and you might not even get a customer to your website. So now we look at step 5, and step 5 is the last step in the website audit. We're looking at, where are you ranking now? We'll look at your Google Analytics, and we'll look at your Search Console. Google Analytics, right? It's going to look at your stats. Where's your traffic coming from? Is it coming from search engines? Is it coming from social media? Is it coming from direct? Like, are you emailing your customers, your clients? And then Search Console is, what are people searching to find you? All right, so we'll make a report and show you what you're ranking for now, and then we'll have a meeting with you to see what you want to rank for. What services you want to push, what services you don't want to push, and we'll find relevant queries that are valuable to your business and track as your rankings increase. And so oh, wow, people are finding me when they type in veteran asset protection. That I love those cases. Good. Let's write more articles about that. Let's see how we can rank higher for that. Maybe we can get a link from the VA. It's possible. And, so we can work with you to rank for things that you want to rank for by answering questions that your perfect customer, wants answered. And so, so wrapping that up is the 5 steps. I'll go over the 5 steps again really quick. You optimize your content, optimize your information that's offered on your website. You optimize your links, you optimize your site structure, and then your current rankings, and find areas of improvement. That's the 5-step process to performing a thorough website audit. And I promise you, if you follow those 5 steps, your website will rank. and people will find you on Google, and you'll find more customers. And the longer you do this, you'll see it pays its compounding interest. It might start off slow, and then all of a sudden, the rankings will go through the roof, and you'll stay there because you were consistent and always doing the right thing for your website. So, Jim, I don't know if you had any questions.
Yeah, no, not too many questions, really. I mean, I've kind of wondered about how we could use this to help the elder law and the estate planning firms for a long time. And now with your expertise, and we're able to finally, get a program out there to be able to do this. But at the end of the day, our estate planning and elder law firms that we work with, they're helping people locally in their own communities, right? And so when we're going into some of them, and I wish I had more people coming to the website. If people could come to the website, they'd give us a call, they'd request more information, they'd schedule a consultation, they'd do something, right? And so a lot of these websites, unfortunately, they are old, they're not updated, they have bad information, the structure of them is not very, well put together. And so, in order to improve that, right? So if somebody's sitting at home and they're like, man, my mom just went into a nursing home and I don't know what to do, right? And so they go online and they search, I know I'm in Florida, so if they type in, let's say Orlando, right? And they're sitting in Orlando, they type in Orlando, they're like, mom in nursing home, protect her savings or whatever that may be, right?
Right.
How can my mom, pay for the nursing home or whatever, right? And they search that. If your website's not up to date through this audit, and the captions aren't properly tagged, the headlines aren't there, the site structure is not there, somebody else is going to come up for that, and they might not even be in Orlando, depending on if anybody has been doing this in Orlando, right? They might see somebody else in another state, because the best information is going to go to the top of that. And based on it being locally, if yours is structured the proper way, yours will trump somebody else's that's maybe a national organization, because you have the content that's relative to that person in Orlando at that time. And so, the first step in our system is like, let's see where you're at, right? Let's see, are you currently, how is your website right now? Is it an A? Is it a B? Is it a C? Is it an F? Right? And then depending on where that comes up based on this 5-step process, we'll be able to go in and make the changes that are needed. Maybe your pictures are perfect already, but your links are horrible. Maybe your content's very good, but your site structure is bad, right? Or maybe your site structure looks awesome, or it's minimalistic, or whatever that may be, which is great in some cases, but your content is never going to rank because it's generic, or maybe you bought it from another marketing company that sends the same type of content to all the companies that they work with, which isn't good, right? Because that same piece of content is shown multiple times, and Google or Bing or Yahoo or whoever they're using to search sees that same piece of content on 100 different websites. And it's just a piece of generic content that's not going to be very relevant to somebody that's having that problem right now in the city that you currently work with. So we're excited to go through more of these steps with you moving down. We're trying to release one of these so you can kind of learn about the 6-step process in this. The goal of this brand new service, we could say it's like an SEO service, because the goal of it is to improve your search ranking when people are searching for queries that are relative to the types of cases that you actually want to take on, right? So if the 3 most profitable cases for your firm are avoiding probate, crisis planning, and just like, basic estate planning, right? You could go and we could structure the type of content and structure your website to attract people for those 3 things based on the type of content, the type of client profile that you're looking for. So when somebody does search that query and they do find your results, it's going to be relative to the topic that they're searching for. It's going to be relative to the type of client that you want to bring in. And then there'll be many opportunities on your website for them to take that next step. So that's to request more information, to call your firm, to track them on your website, and then and get that. And when you're doing this the right way over time, you're not paying Google for those search term ads. You're getting the results for free, just based off of what they would call organic searching. online, or
Mm-hmm.
just the natural searching that people are doing without having to pay for the ads. So I look forward to kind of going over these the next week or so here with you, Joel. And then
Yeah, no, for sure.
if anybody has any questions about this step or any of the future steps, or just SEO in general and how that applies to local elder law and estate planning firms, you can always reach us at team@bambiz.net, and that'll send us all an email, and we'd be happy to address those for you. So did you have anything else you wanted to add to that?
No, thanks for letting me go over this. And the truth is, very simply, is that it's hard to keep track of everything search engines want, you know, and just because a website says, we help elder law attorneys, right? Or we help, elder law or people looking for help with, elder care. It doesn't mean that that's what Google sees. Sometimes you might be sending a confusing signal and not even know it. And that's what the website audit is for. It's just to see what's going on. It's not bad and it's not good. It's just to see where you are, like a checkup, a nice health check to see if, maybe the reason why people are not coming to your website or why you're not ranking is something, nice and simple that you can fix, and it just turns right on again, but we won't know until we, check under the hood of your website.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm excited, because, we'll talk about this in another video, how people are looking for answers, and you guys as attorneys should come up in those searches. I think that's the name of the game we should be playing.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for that information, Joel. I look forward to continuing this discussion on the other steps, and hopefully we're able to help improve some websites and get people a game plan with the website audit. So we'll be back soon.
All right. Take care.